This is technically the first episode, but the third one is lost. So, yeah, hi. Welcome to the third installment of our little old podcast where I just yap about whatever I've been up to for that week. I'm sorry if I sound a bit weird because I am sick. I catched some cold or the flu, whatever you want to call it. It was a while now, but now it hit a bit harder because it affected my respiratory system. I can't breathe normally, nor can I speak or eat normally. I like my throat is sour, so to speak, or something like that. It hurts quite a lot, honestly, but it is nothing compared to the tooth that shattered a month ago, and I had to go fix it with quite some expensive treatment. And gonna get through this, and you're gonna get through this also if you're going through something like this, because the weather is changing and it's gotten quite cold quite suddenly. I don't know when did that happen, but it was like today was hot, the next day was freezing. I can feel my balls shrinking. They were going up, reaching my stomach. That's how far my balls were cracking. Anywho, that was a disgusting allegory to describe how cold it was, but I really did feel it this time. I always like walking from the same position. It's been like now a year where the only place that I frequent is this chair right here. The only time that I don't sit in this chair is when I'm sleeping. So to feel that strange feeling like the weather is changing in like a weird way that I haven't never experienced was quite weird. So anywho, what's weirder is, even though that it's been like more than 5 years, goddamn, I think it is even more than 5 years, because 5 years from now it was 2020, and before that when I was learning how to draw, and it wasn't anything that serious. It didn't start serious until 2020. That summer is when I wanted to really like hone in on the fundamentals, because I wanted to create my own stuff basically. So I wanted to do or pursue concept art, because concept art is the thing that turns whatever words that you have or ideas into actual visual stuff or interactive stuff that you can play or watch. So right now, when I discovered that I know nothing, when I discovered that throughout all of that work that I have done, there was so much that I didn't know about. So the problem that I was dealing with, not just this week, but for quite some time now, the only difference now is that I got some courage to tackle this problem and kind of go through it and see if I can solve the issue, which is, you have your game mechanics, you have the side quests and so on, like everything that the player will interact with, everything that you will develop and put into the game. But how do you design those ideas? How do you visualize them? How do you prototype them? I'm not talking here about like the prototyping when you actually put the thing into the game. I am not talking about that, because that is something that is easy, at least for me, because I know how to work with Unreal good enough to be able to do so. But I'm talking here about more pre-production stuff. For example, if I have to create something to put in like slideshow or files or game documents to show investors or people, because I don't want to deal with investors, to be honest. Once you deal with them, it's like a deal with the devil. Not even a deal with the devil. The devil is ashamed to be put in comparison with them. But in case you have, not in case, you will have some people working with you, especially if you want to head for something that is good quality. You will have people working with you, be it they're working from like sound department, visual department, in terms of 3D models, in terms of themselves being other concept artists or programmers. So you need to visualize what's going on to them. That was my problem, is how do you exactly visualize that? So I went in and try and see if anything is possible. that I can do with my skills. And it turned out that there wasn't that much, because there isn't that much. This is something that isn't set in stone about how you exactly should do things. It is exactly something like, I am ashamed to say it, especially after the practicing drawing or whatever for more than 5 years, but it is just the pure fundamentals. If you can sketch an idea, that is all there is to it. It's just sketching an idea. For example, this thing that I had to do with physics. For example, there is like something like the Hinox from Breath of the Wild, or someone like the Cyclops from Dragon Dogma. So when you kill them, or like you take them down, you don't kill them, but you just take them down, either by like burning their feet or like breaking their kneecaps, whatever it is, they're falling. So for example, if you are in like a tight space, if you're in a canyon or something like that, if they fall on the wall, they need to actually hit the wall with their face before falling on the ground. So, and then also if they fallen on the ground and they fall on a rock or a piece of rock, for example, they will take damage or extra damage from that. So how do you depict these ideas? How do you like explain them with like simple cartoons? That was the problem that I had to deal with. Also gameplay things like the combat, for example. I'm talking here about just quick visualization. I'm not talking about something that is very complex and this is a finished artwork like the ones that you see on ArtStation, for example, the ones that you see if you're a nerd and you look at a lot of art books or production books or material books, or the set T for like anime. The set here is anime specific, but you see a very fleshed out concept art. That isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stuff that they use between them in the studio as just trying to convey their ideas, and you can see glimpses of those. I don't know where exactly can I like point you toward, but if you watch the Zbrush tutorial or like presentation by Capcom, they showed that even though that they had the design, they had to get some extra sketches from the character designer to be given to the sculptures, so they get a more fleshed out version of that character. I think it was Zangief that they were given the example of. Same thing goes with Mario Wonder with GDC. The sketches that they shown. There is a unique thing about Nintendo, which is they prioritize prototyping, which is a great thing. But I'm here just trying to focus on getting things done as much as I can right now, because to prototype I need to learn C++, and I need to let go of everything that I'm working on right now to go focus on C++ and prototyping that in Unreal, and I can't do that right now. But I'm planning to, and I'm making way for it. Slowly but surely I will get there. Yeah, those are the two examples that I can give. I might put also some other examples from Breath of the Wild's book, the Masterworks. They also have some examples like that where they are just quick, small sketches. They are not that detailed. They're just sketches with pen, or like sketches with some values on them if they are done digitally, or if they're done with like the analog or traditional, they have some markers, coloring and stuff. It's just very light stuff. It isn't very rendered. Also, if you look at other books that are more fleshed out, not to the extent of like being a artwork, something that is there to be set as like a beacon to set the trajectory of the vision of the art, not the artwork, sorry. It is the artwork because it might be like a series of illustrations, it might be a comic or a manga, or it might be an anime or a game. Those pieces of artwork are there to set the vision, like what kind of colors are you going to be used, what kind of values. The values here are more like representative of the light, even though color is representative of light also, but the values of light are much more related or associated with values. So what kind of values are there, the kind of perspective stylization, if you're gonna use like a very realistic type of lenses, or very stylized ones like the ones that you see in anime with very warped, bombastic type of perspective. So and also the texture and the post-processing and all of the things that are added on top, those are very finished pieces of work that will take you like a week or weeks to finish. I'm not talking about those, I'm talking about something that you finish in like 2 hours. But there's still like solid visions, but only for a side quest. So for example, or only for quick mechanics, or only to like prototype how, for example, we have a variation of weapons, because that is also a thing that I worked on, was the weapons systems and how it will exactly work, and trying to draw that in a way like you draw a blueprint for a building was pretty challenging, to say the least, because you're out here in 2D, try to envision the whole game, the whole mechanics, the way that you interact with them, because the game that I'm talking about here is a game that is something similar to Zelda, where you don't have just your weapon that you fight with, even though that I want to give, even though it is an RPG, I want to give you like a very expensive or extended way of fighting. I want to put the action in an action RPG, something similar to Devil May Cry series, or Dragon Dogma also uses that, but Devil May Cry, where you can use a press of a button to commit an attack, to do an attack. You can keep pressing or hold the button to do another attack, which is like a heavy version of it usually, or instead of just mashing one button, you can just press the button, wait for like if he's like grabbing a sword, for example, you wait for it until it reach the like erosion point, if you will, or like the arc of the swings goes the most further back that it can get. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. Then you press the other button. That will create another attack, instead of just creating just bam bam bam. You have to wait. Instead of just pressing the second time, you will have to press nothing and then press the third one. I don't know if that makes any sense. I am still confused about that system, still trying to understand it. But the problem with my system is that I want to make use of the abilities that the player will have, that I still haven't conceptualized, by the way. And I want to use the item, and I want you to use your environment to your advantage. So it's not just going balls to the walls and just beating the hell out of everyone. There are situations where you will have to confront someone. If you just went in exploring a cave and someone jumped you, there is nothing in your environment that you can use necessary other than light, because a cave will be dark. So you need you're kind of put on like the back foot right here. Your back is pressed against the wall, so you need to do something before your light goes out, be it like you have a lantern or you have a torch. So yeah, that way you will be like solely focused on your skills when it comes to this combo system. So if you've been neglecting it for your whole playthrough, you will suffer there. Or if you've been like working on it, you will harvest the fruits of your labor or dedication to the fighting system. So that was it for the visualization. I don't know if I can yap about this anymore, because I think I have talked a lot of boring details about this, but yeah, it is a very problem that I don't hear being talked about quite a lot, and I'm planning to make some sort of video or blog about it, because I think that this information needs to be out there, and I don't know if there is anyone that have talked about this. And I tried to look and see if there are any artists that have done the same thing or shared something like this when it comes to like the production sketches. I didn't find any other than this guy that's called like Androids Art or something like that. I will put him on screen, and maybe if possible I will link him below. But they have this blog or blogs that they discuss like old retro games, and they discuss those ideas in maybe like sequels for them or like new entries or something like that. or like games inspired by them and so on. And he does something that I really likes, because I remember them 2 days ago, after I was done with all of the dumb ideas that I had, that then I realized that they were genius, because most of those ideas were brought in from anime, the pre-production of anime, because that one is quite easy in comparison to this one. This one have a lot of interactivity, a lot of moving variables. In anime, everything is constant. You have your character designs, you have your storyboards, then you build the layout on top of that, then you have your animation, the background is cooking in the background, and then you compose everything, you compile everything, and you do a little bit of post-processing, and there you go. I have obviously oversimplified it, but compared to the games, there are a lot of things going on, especially with 3D, because you're sketching or planning in 2D and the final version is going to be in 3D, so there is a lot of problems of conversion going on. I don't know how to describe it best, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they did like great job with one type of sketch is the situation, like describing the situation of an enemy. One of them is from Zelda, with like a top down, or like the reverse of the camera looking up at Link, or what's supposed to be a Link, hitting one of those small enemies that they were in Link to the Past. That was great, because you show the size of the enemy, and you show like the player fighting them, and also an idea about the environment itself and how would it be. The poses and the gesture and the everything informs the team about what they are going to be doing for the animation, how the animation needs to be. For example, they give them an example, a visual example of what they should strive to achieve visually, not just the ideas of this is a small enemy, this is a bigger enemy, he have a broadsword, what is the difference between a broadsword, a rusty sword, a claymore, a royal sword, and a soldier sword, a dark knight sword, a magic one. What is the difference between all of these, visually speaking? Not just their abilities and their status, because the abilities and status, to be honest, they are the exact same thing that you have in D&D and tabletop RPG. They are the exact same things, with some complications that you can add in yourself, but if you already understand how that system works, you will be good here. But if you don't, you can come here and sit next to me, and we can bash our heads together through the wall, try to figure this shit out. So yeah, it is a great artist. He have a few things like variation of vehicles, and the Mega Man one, variation of scale between the characters, which is a very important one to keep account of scale. And yeah, I really love that, because I didn't read his stuff yet. All I remember was going through all of those blogs and seeing what the ideas that he had, just the visual ones, and I remember being mesmerized by all of the things that I have seen. So yeah, I think I will go back to it this time. I will read through and try to understand the way that he thinks, and yeah, hopefully I will glean something from it. But yeah, that's aside, the only thing that was problematic this week was this visualization stuff and trying to work on a weapon system, which is part of the fighting or combat system, which is a very complicated system that shouldn't be treated the way that I have treated it, but I am satisfied with what I have achieved. I am satisfied with whatever small things that I have achieved with the studies that I was trying to do, basically trying to conceptualize something that will work and nothing that is too complicated, because I catch myself doing something that I fear quite a lot, which is being too complicated or making a system that is bad, that I myself won't like. So I catch myself, the voices starting me midway when I was trying to create like a variation between the types of attacks. You have your blunt, your sharp, and your piercing attacks. So if you have a weapon that can deal both of those attacks, do you figure out a smart solution, or you just create a new type of weapon? that uses both of those attacks, because creating a new type will add in a lot of complications down the line when it comes to programming, sorting, and organizing all of your systems basically that references each other, because references is bad for this reason, but it is important. It is there. You just try to minimize it. That is what I did here, with the smart solution being not the whole weapon being a type of attack, or being using just not only the solution was not making a weapon using one type of attack, but making the animation use one type of attack. So if you're doing 1/, 2/, 3, when you do the one that goes down, for example, and it is a great sword, that one will be a blunt attack. It's like hitting the ground with a hammer, and something like this can work with a lot of other types of weapon. For example, a dagger can slash, and then stab, which is the stabbing is a piercing attack because it's going in, it's penetrating through the defenses, whatever it is. It will not do with armor, but if it's leather or something like that, it will go through. So that is what I have come to for now, but I still need to figure out how it does work, because I focused on the minutia and forgot about the whole system. I was focusing on the leaf and forgot about the whole mountain, which is the fighting system that needs to be engaging. This is why actual prototypes are good, because you will see these problems quite quickly, because you're prototyping everything at the same time. But if you don't have ideas about what's supposed to be in that prototype, you cannot create it. So yeah, but I have ideas right now. Mainly with this combat system, I need to have all of the main blocks to be done. First of all, we need the player. Second one, we need just 3 basic types of enemies, the basic ones. I'm not talking about special ones or ones that are specialized to a certain climate or biome or region. Just 3 basic ones, so we can test the reaction between the player and the enemy. If the player does this, the enemy does that. If the enemy does this, the player must do this, and if not, they will be punished, and whatever the punishment will be. And also the other 2 systems are the weapons, as I said, like with all of their types, and items and environment and all of the interactive things that might occur. I want them to be like engaging and not just something that happens in the background, which is something that I don't like that much about Breath of the Wild, unless like it is some wacky situation where a moblin, for example, throws a bomb barrel at you or something like that. Other than that, you don't interact with the environment that much, other than burning the grass to create like an uplift or something like that. So yeah, that was it for this week. It was a pretty unproductive week, because I haven't worked on the video that I was supposed to be finishing last month, and at this rate I don't think I will be able to finish it before the end of the year. And I haven't worked on the animations, and I have barely did the daily sketching and concept art practices. So I've been messing up and hopefully by next week I will report to y'all some good news about both my scheduling and my productivity, because both of them have hit rock bottom, to be honest. So yeah, with that said, thank y'all for listening. Don't forget to do all of the good things. Comment below, most necessary. I don't care about subscriptions that much. Comment down below if you see that this is interesting, or if you yourself trying to develop games and you have problems with these areas right here, the unspoken about processes, if you will. So yeah, with that said, thank y'all for listening. As always, make sure to have yourselves a damn good one.